Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Actual. So today we are going to discuss a special video which is related to power of an actuary. Since 21st August is kind of celebrated as Actuaries Day throughout the world, and we only the Indians have kind of started celebrating that as an actual day, and now it has been celebrated throughout the world. So I think this is the perfect occasion for me to release this video. Of course, there was that part two of what freshers lack in actually, and that would be released Sunday at around 7 p.m. And I'll not post any videos after Sunday for some time, maybe till Friday, so that everyone has the time to kind of see that video and there is no other noise kind of impacting that video, because I believe that video would also be very, very important. But today's topic is different. Today's topic is related to power of an actuary. We have heard so much about actuary. Actuaries get 1 crore package. Actuaries are like, they know a lot of maths and stats and whatnot, right? So, what is the power of an actuary? What we should actually focus on, and how we should celebrate this, 21st August 2022, because yeah, that is the World Actuary Day, right? So, without further ado, let's move on. Okay. So first point, what we have heard in kind of in Game of Thrones, which is knowledge is power. Although Game of Thrones mentioned power is power, but I still believe that knowledge is power. And what we have heard in actuary, or what we have learned in actuary, is about reserve. As we all know, that actuaries are the owner of reserves. Reserves are liabilities, so actuaries are the owner of liabilities, right? So actuaries know everything about liability, and it is an asset does not give a headache to a person or to a CEO or to the manager of that company or to the maybe the shareholder of that company, but is the liabilities that give the most headache. And actuaries are in charge of kind of calculating those liability, understanding those liabilities, understanding the risk associated with those liabilities. So actuaries, that's why actuaries are kind of paid more, right? We have also understood, or we have also studied about with profit policies, where the participating policyholders or the policyholders even participate in that profit that is kind of gained. And I already have a video, like couple of videos about with profit policies. So I now we know why an insurer kind of sell with profit policies. We have also heard about asset share, which is kind of related to with profit policies, which basically means the fund, not the total fund, but some portion has to be deducted from that fund, so that would represent the true fund that is there, right? So this all of this we have kind of heard in actually. And one thing that is kind of special about these three things maybe is that they are related to the liabilities. So since actuaries are kind of owner of liabilities, these are the things that they deal in day to day work, and these are the traditional areas where actuaries kind of work in. What we have also heard is delta. We have also learned about gamma. So delta represent the movement in the stock price. If the stock delta represent the movement in the derivative price. If your stock move by say 1 point, how much your derivative would move, and that depends on the strike price and etc. Then we have seen gamma. Gamma means the change in the derivative price. So that is, if your derivative moves by 1 point, how much that would cause, how with how much force that would change the price of the derivative. Then we have understood, or we have learned about theta, which represents the time value of money. So if there is a guarantee, the value of that guarantee decreases with time or it increases with time, what that thing is. So that is theta. And then there is rho, which is related to the correlation, how two assets move together, etc., etc. So we have all learned all of this, kind of in probably in CT8, probably, or CM2 in the new syllabus, right? So we have heard about this. We have also studied about stochastic calculus, which is the movement of stock price, because stock do not move in like in normal calculus. If you kind of tone it down, if you use a microscope, you will see you can probably draw a straight line, or you can find a straight line. That's the basis of calculus. But stochastic calculus means no matter how much microscopic you start to go, you will never get a straight line. It will always be a spiral, a curve, right? So that kind of creates stochastic calculus, which is exactly how stocks move, right? And obviously this delta, gamma, theta, rho, etc., all these are kind of called Greeks. By Greeks I don't mean Hrithik Roshan, who has Greek god physique, but these are called Greeks, right? These are mathematics. So once again, something particular about this side is everything here is mostly related to asset, right? So actuaries have learned about liabilities. In the previous slide, we saw that actually have learned about liabilities. In this slide, we have seen that actually have learned about asset, right? So that is the only, like, those are the main things, right? In the financial area, asset and liabilities. Actuaries are kind of well versed in both of this. So what is the biggest risk? So the biggest risk for an actuary is to, which is the term that I've coined myself, is to stay a paper actuary. If you have cleared your papers, if you have cleared CM2, you have cleared CT5 or CM1, whatever that subject is called now, but you don't retain the knowledge. You have heard about reserve, but you don't remember the formula for reserve. While going through this presentation or slide, you have heard about Greeks, you have seen Greeks, but you have not able to recollect what Greeks was, or you were not able to recollect what delta is, what theta is, what rho is. Then that means you are just in paper actuary. You have cleared the paper, you have just studied the exams, you have just studied the questions just to clear the exam, but you have retained zero knowledge. So that is the main problem. So if you retain those knowledge, you'd be like a Superman, right? You can see this picture here where the Superman is kind of you know with all his muscles bulging out, and the Superman can be an actuary. So that person, even if you have not cleared that paper and you have the knowledge, then you'd be a Superman actually. However, if you have cleared the paper but you don't have the knowledge, you'll just be a laughing stock. You'll be a joker. Everyone would be laughing at you, and eventually you'll be a, I mean, you'll be a liability for the entire team. So that is the biggest risk. Whether you are just clearing papers just for the sake of clearing papers, whether you are just a paper actuary, or whether you are a true actuary who retains the knowledge, who is not just clearing the paper for the sake of clearing paper, but that person knows that he has to retain the knowledge in order to do good in life, in order to excel in concepts, etc., etc. And that person has kind of taken every step to excel in that field. So otherwise, you are just a paper actuary. There is, I mean, you would just be average or below average. That is, you don't have the ability to kind of dominate the world, and that's why the picture aside is of the world is because if you are a true actuary, if you are a pure actuary, if you have excelled in your concepts, then you can dominate the world, because the only actuaries are kind of taught about liabilities, probabilities, economics, and also about the asset side. Moving on. So how can you explore the true power of an actuary? It is just to combine both of this, the asset side and the liability side. When you can combine both this power, and along with that, if you can also take the help of technology, then you can do incredible stuff. So this is just an example of a system that I personally follow, and someone else can follow it as well, but there is a catch. So what is that system? Take money. You can take money from your friends, family, etc., right? And then you can give them a return. So something like banks does, right? And when you are taking money from someone else, it is especially the concept that you are following is actually of the participating policies, right? You are kind of asking others to participate in your journey. So you are taking money from them and you are saying that, okay, if you, I'll give you this much return, maybe say 18% return per annum, and you lend your money to me. However, you need to be risk averse, right? There is a risk associated with that. What if you were not able to generate the return in whatever things that you are investing it in? So you need to keep a reserve. So suppose you have collected, by this way you have collected say around say 15 lakhs of money, and in that you are only investing 12 lakhs, and remaining 3 lakhs are you are keeping as a reserve, right? And also you need to remember your risk appetite. Suppose your overall bank balance is 5 lakhs and you are taking 15 lakhs from your friends and family, you will go bankrupt. There is no way you can take and invest that money. You'll lose your sleep, you'll lose your mental peace, and I mean it will does more harm than it will do good. Even if you succeed, it will be very problematic for you, and it will take a toll on your health. So you have to remember your risk appetite. And these are all the things that you have kind of studied in actually, right? If you recollect and if you remember. So what happens, how you can gain? Suppose you are promising 18% and you have excelled in one field, say trading or investing, right? So like I personally do a lot of trading. So I have built that concept, I have built that experience over the years. And once I thought, okay, I am at a good enough stage. I am not a paper actuary anymore. So I have whatever I have learned, I have kind of fuse that with the practical experience, and I have gone to a different level. Now I can take money from others and I can promise them say 18% return, and while keeping a reserve and always maintaining my risk appetite. I would not take some money that I'll never be able to return. Like I will not take 1 crore from some person, because it would be very difficult for me to return 1 crore into 18% at the end of the year to that person, right? So I'll always remember what is my risk appetite. With that said, suppose you are able to generate that profit, and based on your experience, because obviously when you are doing this, when you are developing a system, you are developing that system based on your experience, right? That's what automation is, right? When you know that quarter after quarter, year after year, the same process will be followed, you can automate it. So obviously there is experience involved, right? That's why it is called a system. Yeah, based on your experience, you have seen that this is how it works, so you have developed an automated system. And you know that maybe in 6 years I'll be able to generate, 6 months I'll be able to generate 18%, or maybe in 4 months I'll be able to generate 18%. So remaining time, whatever money you generate out of that, that money would be your profit. So you have not used a single rupee of your capital, right? And you have generated, say, maybe in next 6 months you have generated another 18%. So that 18% entirely would be your profit. And for that you have used zero capital, right? So out of zero you are making 18% profit. So that's the power of an actuary, right? Here you have created arbitrage profit out of zero money. You have used someone else money, you have given that person profit, you have helped that person grow, and you yourself has grown in the process. And in this entire process, you imagine about your knowledge, your experience, how it would increase, right? Because you are dealing with some big capital, some capital, and because of that, it is someone else money, so you have to be kind of disciplined. And that along with that, you are kind of generating revenue, generating profit for yourself, right? So once you can do it for a certain group of people, they themselves would be the word of mouth for you, and they themselves would promote you, and then this you can repeat this with other customers. However, keeping in mind that you have to control your risk appetite. You cannot just based on 1 year success can double the capital. That is not expected, and you will end up in a lot of losses if that happens, right? So this is what, and this is just an example of a system. There can be n number of system. You can combine your actual knowledge with some other field in many different way. This is just an example of system that I follow probably, and there are around 10 more ideas in my head that I can do, right? But I'll go slowly and I'll earn the experience and then I will learn, right? So, I mean, that is what I just try to highlight. However, there are a couple of more pointers. So the first pointer is, if you have seen maybe Shark Tank, not the India type, that is I mean, that is like a Saas Bahu serial. So not that, but if you have seen the Shark Tank of US, so you will see that the first question they ask is it scalable? Of course, it is scalable. You must start with say 2 people, and then you can grow it to 4 people, and then you can grow it to 6 people. And the more successful you are with those 2 people or with those 4 people, the more chance that you have to kind of grow it, right? The more experience you get with handling different category of money or different breadth of capital. Secondly, the second question they ask is can it be copied? Like, can someone else be copied? So it depends on the level of experience you have, right? So although I am sharing this idea, I'm sure that very few people would be able to copy it because they do not have the say guts to do that. They do not have the knowledge to do that. So there is a barrier, right? Once you are in that zone, once you are not a paper actuary, once you are a true actuary, once you have your concepts clear, so then you are in a league of your own. Then very few people will copy because it is so hard to do that. It's so easy to clear papers, but it's so difficult to retain the knowledge of all those 13, 14 papers, right? It's impossible. It's only when you make effort in that direction, you can do that. Otherwise, you will just be clearing paper and then you will be posting in LinkedIn saying, I have cleared this paper with this much and this much, and I have become an actuary at the age of 23. That doesn't matter. Whether you became actuary at the age of 23 or you became actuary at the age of 53, it doesn't matter. What matters is what is your knowledge level at the time you became actually, whether you have retained all the knowledge, whether your concepts are clear, or you're still struggling. You have just cleared the paper because someone else, because that was your lucky day, because someone else was judging you and someone else has probably judged you incorrectly. But if you have not retained the knowledge, then there is no point, right? So that's the main, as I mentioned, that is the main risk. And it cannot be copied because it will be based on years of your concentrated effort to become a good actuary, actually with clarity of knowledge, right? The next point is, of course, discipline. Like I mentioned, you there is no shortcut to success. You cannot become a billionaire or millionaire overnight. You have to kind of grow slowly. You have to start with 1%, then you move to 10%, then you move to 20%, and in this way you grow, right? You let your experience grow. You do not take on something that is very heavy for you, and you try to move slowly but continuously. Also, you see these two feathers on the side, right? Why are these two feathers? Because one of the most important questions probably an investor would ask you, is your business asset light? Does that means that whether you can start with very low capital, which is unlike a life insurance business where you require a lot of capital, right? But in when you are starting as an actuary, why would you need to have the weakness of a life insurance business, or maybe say general insurance business, or other capital intensive business? So the first question that probably an investor would ask you, is your business capital light or asset light? The answer is yes. I am not taking money from, I am not using my own money. I'm taking money from someone else. And yeah, and based on my experience, I am giving or guaranteeing a return. And that person obviously know that this is the return that he or she expects. And obviously, I am making arbitrary profit, right? So that is obviously it's asset light. There is no investment at all, actually. In fact, in this case, you do not spend anything other than your experience. So other people will give you money only when they trust you. So if you are honest, if you're ethical, if you are speaking your heart out, if you do not care about others' opinion, and when you have a skill set and they know that you are good, right? Nobody will give their money, hard-earned money, to a paper actually. They know that this person has cleared 15 papers, but I mean, that person is just, I mean, they do not have that clarity of concept. But you would give your money to someone who has not cleared those 15 papers, but then again, that person know that this person has good clarity of concept, and this is the person that I would like to use spend my money, right? So that would come from years of effort and years of, and as I mentioned, concentrated effort to gain knowledge. One of the most important point, do you need to leave your job for this? No. As I mentioned, if you can use technology, if you can automate it in some manner, and you can monitor it using that technology, that your trades would be executed at, I mean, at the at some time, at some with certain conditions, and your trade will also be exited at some time with certain conditions. Then you can obviously do your job, right? You do not have to kind of all of focus on that too much. Obviously, you need to monitor it. There is always a certain degree of discretion, right? That's why humans are the person who are kind of creating the machines, right? It's not the other way around. So that's why you need to monitor it, but you can obviously do your job. And at a point of time when you feel that, okay, so I have done enough, I am more experienced now, I don't need to do my job, and whatever earning that I was kind of getting from my job, I am kind of getting double that amount without taking that much effort. I have that independence and strength, and I am at that point in my life cycle, depending on my dependents and my family, etc., etc. Then you can obviously take the decision to leave your job. But initially, at the start, following this asset light sort of business model, you never need to leave your job, right? So all of this, if you kind of stop here and recollect whatever I have said, you will see that all of this we have kind of learned in our actual papers: risk appetite, reserve, with profit policies, asset share, right? How can I reduce the risk? Maybe if I pay those persons that from which I'm taking the capital to, say, every 2 weeks, so that my liability is consistently reduced. So I am kind of also I'm kind of, it's similar to kind of releasing my reserve so that my profit is generated, right? Because the sooner I can pay them, the sooner my arbitrage profit phase will start, right? So that's how we can relate. So that's how we can apply the concepts that we have learned in actually to a practical scenario. So finally, it all boils down to what you are looking for. Whether you are limiting your vision to 1 crore package, then you will be happy at 1 crore package and will not go beyond that. Or whether you are looking to kind of break your financial chains and become financially independent. And once you're financially independent, sooner or later you'll also become independent. Now, the reason I have named my channel Blue Dragon is because Blue Dragon represents sky, and it stands for, ultimately stands for independence. It's also one of my nickname. So I when I was born, I was kind of my heart was not able to kind of filter venous blood, and I was kind of born blue. So that is, and my skin was very scaly, etc., etc. So that is also the nickname that I got. But the true reason was, to focus for independence, and that's what Blue Dragon means. Also, there is one other saying in Japanese mythology that the sky is not like, when you see the sky, it is actually, there is nothing, right? There is completely vacant. So sky actually means there is a lot of history, which is called historical records, and or Akashic records. The proper name is Akashic records. So there are Akashic records in there, and if you someone with very high IQ and everything can see those records, and they can gain infinite wisdom. So that's the basis of kind of naming my channel as Blue Dragon. So ultimately, it boils down to this: what is your vision? Are you kind of looking to get 1 crore, and eventually will get 1 crore? I believe 5 years down the line, every person would be like 23 years actually, which we see in LinkedIn post. That would be a norm. Everyone would be actually at 23 years or maybe 22 years. And that person probably after working for 9-10 years would be getting 1 crore package. And if, in fact, other profession would also kind of catch up. Everyone would probably, 1 crore would be a very easy figure to get. So what probably would differentiate you from the herd would be, what is your vision, what is your mentality, whether you are taking shortcut, whether you are paper actually, whether you're true actually. So all of this thing would kind of distinguish yourself from the crowd. And once you get that clarity, you will see that 1 crore is the least thing that you are kind of aiming for. You can earn crores and crores and crores of rupees. There is no limit to it. And there is very ethical and strong ways to do that, and honest ways to do that. So you don't need to uh, kind of probably limit yourself to 1 crore package. That should not be your vision. You should look much beyond that. How many can I help? Maybe 1 crore people to get 1 crore package, because if I can do that, then obviously my package will be more than 1 crore. So if you have watched till this point, I think yeah, so you have a vision of your own. And yeah, please, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I also have a trading channel called Blue Dragon Trading, where I kind of share my mistakes, the way I trade, and the amount of money I'm making, etc., etc., etc. So you can subscribe to that channel. It is called Blue Dragon Trading. I'll provide kind of the link would be in the comment section. I'll pin that comment. So thanks for watching, and yeah, happy Actuaries Day, everyone. This is a profession that I'm very passionate about, and yeah, I'm not passionate about the FII or FIA, etc. In fact, maybe once I get to that level, I still have to kind of rethink over this or think over this, but I might not even pay the subscription amount every year, because I probably would be paying that amount. If I can invest that amount in my trading or investing, I will earn more money. So that's not what I am looking for. That's not what I love. What I love about every certification that I did, or every certification that I'll be doing in future, would be the knowledge that is associated with that certification. I don't need a designation or three-letter word, because my name is much bigger than that, right? My name is Arpan Sengupta, and my name is much bigger than FIA or FIII, etc. And that is not my uh, goal. And I am not kind of putting down others who do that. I mean, it's their life, their opinion, and they are entitled to do that. But I believe that my name is much bigger than that. And if someone someday say that you have cleared this many papers, I will take all your papers away from you. It might impact some other people, but it will not impact me, because I mean, I have the knowledge, right? That nobody can take from me. So obviously, once you, if you, you should clear 15 papers, because that shows perseverance. That shows that you have not given up when the situation got difficult, and you have, uh, you have that ability to go the extra mile, and you don't stop before the finish line. But beyond that, just for the sake of 3 letters or 4 letters to continue, I think I have to think over that, but I might not do that. Why should I spend maybe 45,000 every time to yeah, 40, I can invest that money in trading and probably earn maybe 50,000 or 60,000, or make that money to 50,000, 60,000. I can earn 20,000 interest on that money. So that's my perspective. You don't have to agree with that. But yeah, the power of actuary, or the knowledge that is associated with actuary, is awesome. That's the field. That's why I'm so passionate about actuary, and I'll always be. I mean, this is something I, every day is a dream day for me. I look forward to getting more problems and solving those problems. And if I don't see a immediate solution, how can I probably use my current knowledge along with some other knowledge to probably solve that problem? And I focus tremendously on clarity of concept, so that, because I know, if I have clarity of concept, then I can work anywhere. Along with that, I have to obviously maintain my management, communication, etc., etc. So all of those are important. So yeah, I hope you have a good day tomorrow, or on the actuaries day, and you have learned something out of this video. Thanks for watching once again, and yeah, happy actuaries day.